Previously, the big game's revolving door is spun out of control.
We are playing a real money poker game, right?
And the loose cannon was its latest casualty.
Damn it.
Daniel the Cannon Killer Negreanu.
A record 10 players have sat down during this session.
You felt the pressure?
I felt a lot of pressure.
And it hasn't always been pretty.
I am gonna bluff you. You are gonna fold like a little girl.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Tonight, see whose star will shine.
Strong likes Popeye, and I raise like Popeye.
And whose will implode.
I am steaming, for sure.
As the big game's most volatile week ever continues.
Not that easy with the G.
Now.
This is the PokerStars.net Big Game.
Welcome once again to Las Vegas. Alongside Joe Stapleton, I'm Chris Rose. This week's Loose Cannon has joined 3 others on the rail. And after all the smoke is cleared, 6 pros remain to fight over $1.7 million on the big game table.
Lex Veldhuis joined us late last night, replacing the Loose Cannon. He's been here 9 hands, and he's down 17,000.
Daniel Negreanu's been up 6 figures this week and down 6 figures. Right now, he's stuck $33K.
24-year-old Alan Berry claims to have invented doubling the open. He's utilized it well, at least. He's up 18,000.
One of 3 players to make it the distance so far this week is 21-year-old William Reynolds. The Blonde Bomber's stuck almost $47K.
Andrew Roble questioned the insanity of last night's action before getting berated by Tony G. He's up 7,200.
And the aforementioned Tony G has been all smiles, at least when he looks at his chip stack. He has nearly 1 million in chips in front of him. Right now, he's with Amanda Leatherman.
Tony, we have had 10 different players play this week, and there have been crazy pots, and on top of that, you're up a lot of money. You must be loving this.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I also took a couple of hits here and there, but I think I've been in a zone. I've been very fortunate. The cards have been coming my way, so, you know, it's probably more luck than anything else. I think anyone else would play like me, no doubt.
How much do you crave a lot of action like that?
I just love to play. I really enjoy the game, and I love a lot of action. I love conflicting situations. I love personalities. I mean, especially love the blonde kid there.
Yeah, he's great.
Will, I mean, he's a character. I mean, I think he's a superstar in the making. So it's fun to be with people like that around, and it's just a lot of fun to take them on and challenge them and get stimulated.
All right, well, we love having you. Good luck out there tonight, okay?
Thank you.
This week's Loose Cannon, Elizabeth Houston, was busted on hand 112. So Nadia Magnus remains the leader in the clubhouse for that North American Poker Tour passport worth 50 grand.
Looking pretty good for Nadia right now.
I made a declaration, Will.
Declaration.
I declared that you could be a superstar on TV.
And then Tony G spoke.
Action starts on Alan Berry. Folds.
Big declaration. Big declaration.
King Jack for William Reynolds.
Is Clooney's losing? Do we have no straddle here? No. Okay. Sorry to cut you off, Tony, but it's 1,500 now.
Raised to 1,500.
Cuts off Tony's praise speech to raise. Now that's heart and commitment.
Roble folds. Tony G repops to 4 grand. Lex folds. Daniel. Out.
Huge re-raise, because usually it's 3. All right. I mean, either way, it's profitable to play with the master. I know I'm going to learn something in this hand, right? There we go.
The game is
Reynolds calls.
Pretty marginal.
Let's check it out again one more time.
6-4 tray on the flop. Both whiff.
Check.
Reynolds checks.
Okay.
Tony checks. 6 of diamonds on the turn.
William does have the best hand.
Check.
And checks.
William has shown plenty of weakness, and Tony's in position.
Tony fires 7,000.
William's wondering at this point if there's any way he can try to rep a hand now.
Reynolds folds, and Tony adds another early pot to his stack.
Tony's aggression has bluffed William off a few hands this week.
All right, I learned something. I shouldn't be calling anymore when I'm out of position versus Tony G.
I could have told you that for way less.
So as Professor G demonstrates another lesson, we take a look at the rules of the big game. Each table lasts exactly 150 hands. The action pre-flop is pot limit, then no limit after the flop. Blinds are 2 and 400 with a $100 ante, all of which is paid by the player on the button. Every player begins with at least 100 grand, but can reload for up to $500,000. We've seen a lot of straddles this week, and that trend continues as William Reynolds does it on this hand. So Andrew Roble under the gun. Folds. Tony. 5 high. Raises to 1,600. Pocket pair for Lex.
Tony had to wait through that whole rules explanation before he could play another hand.
Jonas is already training.
Lex calls.
Jonas trust one.
Daniel folds. Jack 10 for Alan Barry.
This is a hand most players would defend their big blind with.
And he does as well. William Reynolds folds.
How much was it?
That hand not even worth the 800 to Will.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was that bad. That's why I said how much more was it after I folded. I saw that. That's so hard to do.
3 to the flop. Ace 4 king. Everybody misses. Barry checks. Tony fires. Lex folds. So's Barry.
That was a flop for me. Isn't that sweet when you flop that?
Kings in a flush draw?
A straight draw.
Kings in a straight draw? What? What do you have kings in a straight draw?
Just the basic straight draw.
That is a good flop for that hand.
That's just another basic example of what Tony G's been doing all week, Joe.
Tony's been raising and barreling with virtually everything, leading the table by far in all these categories. While he didn't need to show there, he's already earned over $1 million at Showdown, which has given his bluffs a little more sting than usual.
Tony G, what do you think of that idea?
Makes for good TV.
When someone straddles, the button ante's double.
And then when there's a restraddle, one more ante.
Anything to make the game more volatile.
Well, what that does is it forces everyone because then if you're, if someone's...
I like it. I love it.
Barry's straddling. Action on Reynolds, who folds. Roble. King deuce. Out of here. 8-5 for Tony.
Did you straddle? I have to raise it.
To 3,000.
Of course he does. Lex is a maniac in his own right, and he's probably been waiting for a hand this good to 4-bet Tony.
Which he does to 8,200.
It looks like 82.
But take the blacks back. Don't spoil the blacks.
Daniel folded.
You can't beg for... I was going to call 8,000.
Barry with a pocket pair.
I was still calling 8.
Allen's immediate odds aren't very good, and he's not closing the action.
So he folds.
$800, you'll live. It'll be all right.
Tony calls.
For me, it's like $2.
Let's see if anyone can finally stand up to Tony's aggression.
King tray 8, middle pair for Tony. Action on Lex.
Tony's got a pair, so we'll see at Showdown.
Lex fires 13,000.
Continuation bet.
And Tony quickly calls.
I was so afraid. You have no idea.
The turn. The 6 of clubs. Tony still best.
This card's no help to Lex, but it probably didn't hurt him either. You can see the wheels cranking. The Dutchman is cooking something up here.
21.
Makes it 21,000 to go.
Lex is trying to take Tony off a pair, so he might even put Tony exactly on an 8. Getting Tony G to fold a pair has been an exercise in futility all week. I don't think we've seen Tony lay down a pair on the turn in any heads-up pots.
Tony lays it down and goes rabbit hunting on his own.
Jack.
Say Jack or Jacks?
Jack. What's a jack?
Well, Lex has graduated from the school of bluffing, too.
You did get me off a hand. I qualified.
If you want to appear on the big game and be a loose cannon, log on to PokerStars.net. There are free qualifying tournaments every day. We are coming back to Vegas for more of the big game right after this. Welcome back to the big game in Las Vegas. We continue on with hand 130 out of 150. The loose cannon, Elizabeth Houston, was KO'd on hand 112.
$800 to straddle.
I'm trying to win money in the poker game.
So you're okay with being the only one who doesn't straddle in a game?
Yeah, you remember that?
I mean, do you sleep okay at night at that, like taking that little extra edge?
I do.
You really? You're okay with it? Because I wouldn't feel. I'd feel kind of greasy about it.
I sleep in a giant big bed of money.
Now I feel bad that I straddled, that I caused this upon you.
No, really, I would feel a little weird about it. Being the only guy that doesn't straddle?
Well, I'm not
like,
the only guy.
No, you are. He just straddled.
Alan just straddled.
I feel bad that I straddled. Now you're getting harassed.
I don't think the stacks are really deep enough to have a game that with straddles. It kind of
But
takes
you
away.
like the idea that you can just knit up and take an edge over everybody else who does straddle, because that's always nice.
Well, no, it's your guy's choice to straddle.
Of course,
I mean,
but it's always
yeah.
nice when everyone else gives action and stuff like that. But, you know, you can be the guy that doesn't, and it's
But he
all
wants
good.
action when he has aces and flops
Right.
and ace. He wants
That is how I make a living.
Daniel raised, Barry called, Reynolds 2.
He wants to come and abuse us here. Fair enough.
3 to the flop, 4 king 7, Barry with middle pair. And checks.
Check to the button.
Reynolds checks, Daniel 2. 9 of diamonds on the turn.
That puts straight and flush draws out there.
Barry still best. Fires 2,600.
He's betting to protect his pair.
Reynolds folds.
Daniel's picked up a double gutter and his pairs are live, though he probably doesn't know that.
Daniel calls.
This could also be a float. Daniel may try to take it away on the river.
Which is the king of spades.
This doesn't really change Alan's hand at all. It'd be tough for Daniel to try to take this one away.
Barry bets 5,600. And Daniel folds. So Alan Barry picks up a nice little pot.
Alan Barry flying under the radar, unlike Roble.
Well, despite the small profit, Andrew Roble has taken some abuse from this table so far, but these guys haven't been Andrew's only critics.
I'm Andrew Roble, and I'm from Okemos, Michigan. Well, when I dropped out of school, it was the only time I've ever seen my dad cry. I was on the way to the casino with one of my buddies, and my dad was like, you know, we need to talk. And I was like, Dad, if we can't talk now, you know, I'm going to play poker at the casino. He was like, no, we have to talk now. So we went to the guidance counselor's office at Michigan State, and my dad was like, tell her why you're dropping out. And I was like, I'm quitting school to be a professional poker player. And I remember she just turned and looked at my dad, and she was like, I'm so sorry. And then like 2 years ago, I was at a final table of a poker tournament, and I got an email from that guidance counselor who had like looked me up online, you know, and she said, I guess, you know, things turned out all right.
Andrew, your guidance counselor emailed the show, too. She says you should straddle.
Oh, well, must have emailed Tony G as well because he's doing that this hand.
Well, you're not when you're talking.
Lex folds.
Close.
Daniel's out. Alan Barry folds. Reynolds folds. Queen 6 suited for Roble.
This could be the ultimate laydown against the blind raiser.
Tony's trying to goad him.
Roble didn't find that one funny. He said, it's good to see me.
He pops it.
Pop it up.
5 tray for Tony.
No, I'm just giving you free money. That's all right. Yeah, take it.
Tony calls.
Expecting you to fold.
Oh, no, you want me to have free money?
He can't be serious that he expected Tony to fold, can he?
Calculated the pot and potted it without saying pot.
5 tray 6 action flop.
Dicey flop for Roble, top pair for him, bottom 2 for Tony G.
That is a scary... You're a young man, that's a scary flop.
Roble checks. Tony G bets 10 grand.
Void the big bet.
Let me check.